Hey guys, this is me Bree at Cryptic Tales of Tarot. I do not have my witch hat right now, and I'm upset, but I gotta fix it. This little recording, I am so sorry that it's tardy, but this is for the air horoscopes from back when we had that new moon in Scorpio with the Mercury retrograde. I had posted everything from earth, fire, and water, and then shit obviously came up, and then now here you guys go for the air horoscopes. And even though today is now the full moon in Gemini, take consideration with these horoscopes anyways, because what is it? The Mercury retrograde, just because it ended on the 21st last month, it still has long-term effects for like 2 weeks afterwards. Okay, so this will be posted after what, the third video that I made about the full moon, because there's a lot of shit going on. As usual, this year has been something else. Okay, starting off with the Geminis. I said, my dearest Gemini, this new moon in Scorpio lands in your sixth house. Sixth house, excuse me. Sixth house, which is all about routines, thought patterns, and coping mechanisms you've outgrown. What you need to understand is that Scorpio creates a psychological deep cleaning. Maybe you've noticed what overwhelms you and realize the toxic behavior stems from that. In addition, Mercury retrograde highlights a work situation, health issue, or dynamic with your coworkers that you missed earlier this year. But on the bright side, you can see it now, not emotional. Furthermore, you're becoming aware of your nervous system and how it reacts to pressure and what's helping it versus what making it worse. Moreover, with the water trine, as we had a trine with all the water signs together. Okay, that's Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. So with the water trine, it's encouraging you to make better efforts at discipline, not self-criticism. However, the secret to keeping the momentum is a positive attitude, which will help you align with your long-term goals and well-being. By this point, you'll stop putting up with toxic cycles that exhaust your spirit. Okay, so do what you need to feel refreshed. Not to mention, the Scorpio new moon will be within your work and health, your work and health department. Don't worry though, because the new moon is in conjunction with the Mercury retrograde, which is going to assist you in making sure that you keep shit simple, slow, refine, and realign, especially with that sacred water trine. Hey, that rhymes. Mhm. Okay, and it's going to force you to pay attention to your mind, body, and soul trinity. This trinity of the water signs was formed by the new moon and Mercury, putting you in the spotlight for an outstanding work performance. Having said that, you need to remember that life is like a rhythm that sets the beat of the music to whatever energizes you and uplifts your spirits. All retrogrades, regardless of what planet it is, wants us to slow down. Because when we're rushing or running around like chickens with our heads cut off, we miss the hidden signals that link us to the bigger picture of life. And speaking of other planetary retrogrades, Uranus is in retrograde in your 12th house. Your 12th house. And that talks about you're gonna get a special delivery regarding having a revelation and releasing yourself from those bad habits or routines or anything that's draining your ass or just keeping you stagnant. Also, it's important to know that Uranus doesn't do pointless or irrelevant, monotonous crap, especially when it comes to your profession. Perhaps you may decide to be spontaneous and move on from the typical work life dynamic, especially if your current job makes you feel unmotivated. In fact, you could even think about having your own business. Finally, with a new moon in the new moon in Scorpio, whether it's okay, retrograde or not with Mercury, it's a sign of transformation and rebirth. So, my dear Gemini, your body may have been shouting at you loud and clear that something you do each day no longer serves you. But more than likely, you've either been too busy to hear it or you're ignoring it and just shoving it away and telling yourself that you'll deal with it when you have more time. That time is now. That being said, renewal starts with one small change, which may be slow at first, then it'll gain more momentum or horsepower, and it'll have a domino effect on many other areas of your life. Next one, Libra, the skills. This new moon in Scorpio is gonna feel like a punch in the throat from the universe because it's gonna activate your finances and self worth, thus asking you to analyze any stories from your past when it comes to money and how you made it, and how you spent it, and how it has affected you emotionally, but more importantly, how you value yourself and the money. Who knows? I mean, maybe you grew up in a household where you saw your parents struggling just to make ends meet, or maybe you grew up with, just one parent and you saw them struggling and things like that. Your brain's gonna pick up subconsciously and it's gonna create, a compartment in your brain about how you think about money. Because you know what, as we grow up and what we see goes on around us, either we're gonna continue that cycle, or if it's toxic, hopefully we change it. Because if not, the vicious cycle is just gonna keep going. What else? You have to understand that Scorpio's energy exposes past financial decisions that weren't thought out, but you chose to do what you wanted based on impulse, and unfortunately, it didn't turn out in your favor, and perhaps those poor choices affected your self esteem. But at the same time, you have to understand that those actions, they've made you who you are today, and hopefully you've learned your lessons from them so you don't repeat them again. Well, regardless of your past, this Mercury retrograde will show you how you value your money, how you make it and spend it, but more importantly, it's going to help you understand that you subconsciously built an emotional relationship with it rather than learning when it needs to be saved for practical issues. However, whatever you do, don't be afraid of the truth because you're being put in a position for long-term stability. Also, the water trine is your cheerleader, supporting you when it comes to restructuring your financial spending, changing your perspective on the relationship that you have with money, and redefining your work habits. And yes, Uranus is also in retrograde at the same time as Mercury is, so you may experience a hiccup with your confidence, but don't misinterpret it and think that you're failing, okay? You're just evolving. With that being said, okay, this new moon is trying to teach you to stop undervaluing yourself, your labor, and your heart. Furthermore, when it comes to the past and your poor spending habits, you need to let go of your negative thoughts in regard to scarcity, whether that be about your money, your status, or love. So therefore, during this retrograde, take advantage of the water trine and examine if your desire for money is because it's something intangible, because, maybe you feel like you want something that you can't buy, perhaps. Think of it that way too. You know, as they say, if you're a gold digger, money can buy you love, but true love, no. The money can buy happiness to an extent. It's just a matter of it'll make you happy when you know you can pay the bills, the rent, and still have money left over to save up or go have some fun with it. But spending time with people, you don't need money to spend time with people or to show them your love or anything like that. Or maybe you feel like there's a lot of shit you want to accomplish in life, but you don't feel that you have the time for it. But time is, how do I say, it's subjective. For certain things, yes, you do have a certain timeline. And then for other things, take your time to enjoy the present moment because that one moment or that one special memory, that's all you got of it, you know? And maybe that person you were spending time with, knock on wood, they pass away the next fucking day or a week later and it's a shocker. It's like, damn, money can't buy you time. Money can't buy you precious memories. Think of it like that way. Okay, or says by now you should know that everything can't get done in one day, and that's where time management comes into play. Perhaps you're always telling yourself you would if you could, but you don't, so you can't. Or maybe you've got a bad habit of thinking that there's another time, but you need to know that time is elastic, and like I said, it's all about perspective. I mean, think back to a time when you have been so occupied on something that you completely lost track of time. And when you realize it, you're like, shit, I spent that much time doing that. It may piss you off because maybe you wanted to do something else, or can show you that you have what it takes to get the job done, regardless of how time consuming it is, because Rome wasn't built in a day, bitch. So the point is that you need to enjoy the things when it feels like time is standing still, but then you need to realize that other things, like I said, only have a certain time limit on them. And when you see an opportunity in front of your face and you notice it, take it, snatch it, because if not, somebody else is going to take it from you. And then you might think to yourself, oh, well, another opportunity is going to come my way. And then what's going to happen? Are you going to react the same way and just let it go by and let somebody else take it? Or no, fucking snatch that bitch. You know? Certain things just, have a certain limit on it. Ugh. Yo, out of all the air signs, Libras are the longest. You guys probably got an ass whooping. Once again, it says, speaking of the new moon in Scorpio and how it's surrounded by Mercury's retrograde, there's no other time like to be present, like in the time we have right now. So take a good look at the things you've been putting off, especially when it comes to your money and how you make it, as this correlates to your values and self worth. On another note, you've got to know that attitude is everything during this new moon. hmm Especially when it comes to thinking about whether or not you have enough or there'll never be enough. Because Libras, you guys are always balancing the scales, and I love y'all to death, but I've known a few Libras that, oh my God, they can't make up their mind until the very last minute. It's like they can't shit or get off the pot. And I've looked at them and I'm like, that job just went that way, someone else took it from you. That college scholarship would have been perfect. You thought something better was gonna come away. Somebody else took it. It's like, oh, honey, how much shit you just gonna let fly by? I don't think so. And just watching them do that drives you crazy. And it's like, I gotta walk away. I can't watch this shit show. I gotta play. Man, does you know what with that crap? I guarantee that, looking back, you'll say, shit, I regret not taking that opportunity. I could have gone really far with that. Say it. Yeah, some people choose to use their time making money and being successful because that's how they want to spend their time, while others want to use it for family or their hobbies. So, having said that, go look at what you've been putting off, especially when it comes to anything in regard to your money, and check if there's a correlation between it and your values and self worth. As of right now, you shouldn't be applying for any new jobs. When it comes to the Mercury retrograde, you don't want to start anything new. You want to finish projects, old projects that you never got to finish. Because Mercury retrograde, like I said, it talks about going backwards. Go back to old projects that you never finished and get them done now. Don't start any new shit. But here it says instead of applying for the new job you want, this is the perfect time to update your resume and your cover letter. Don't procrastinate. And if you get the job that you want, but you don't feel like you're being paid, don't just quit. Keep that job until you find something else. Well, you where you think you'll feel appreciated at. So basically, you might end up having to work two jobs, unfortunately. But if you're looking to get ahead in paying your rent and bills and still have some left over, then as they say, you gotta do what you gotta do. And here we have, finally, shit. On another note, perhaps you can look for jobs that are closer to home, which will save time and money to get there. I mean, if you're saving time to travel, that's great because you're not going to be spending so much money on the gas to get there. It's the little fucking details like that you got to take into consideration. hmm So, with that, stand up for yourself and get rid of the thought that you don't have enough money or enough time because time is all you've got. Okay, okay. Wow, 2112 on the timer. That's funny. That's a sign, Libra. Finally, got Aquarius. My dear humanitarians, or as they say, the water bears, this new moon gives your 10th house a boost, which can bring a revelation in regard to your career, reputation, or long term trajectory. At some point earlier this year, there was an opportunity, comment, evaluation, project that comes back to mind, giving you clarity. And, given how this Mercury retrograde is throwing a temper tantrum, it might actually help you in understanding the political or emotional relationships that have been going on behind the scenes at your work. In addition to this, the Scorpio wants you to think about your next move when it comes to improving your work habits, not your emotions. On the bright side, the water trine encourages discipline, vision, and professional maturity because you're being pushed down a different path, but it's for long term success. And then, unfortunately, Uranus retrograde is happening at the same time. And it could maybe put a damper in your confidence, but it's only temporary. Okay, don't overthink it or misinterpret it. And don't think that it's a sign to retreat. Just take a quick pause and look at the situation from a different perspective and think outside the box of how you can make the situation better. This little nation wants you to realize that as of lately, you haven't, what is it? You haven't been very ambitious when it comes to the work environment. And it's just a wake up call. If you're not ambitious with your work, it's probably because you're bored or it's just monotonous. It's not something you enjoy doing. Okay. And if it's not something you enjoy doing, then of course you're not going to be inspired or encouraged to want to just go in, clock out. That's not you, Aquarius. So here's your wake up call to be honest with yourself about the situation and the courage to do something about it. In addition to this, the new moon in Scorpio is conjunct with the Mercury retrograde in your 10th house, which is in opposition to your ruling planet in Uranus in your 4th house. The planets hate us, y'all. They really do. Yeah, these planetary positions are all about having more worldly ambitions and what you believe in. So you're no longer allowed to be emotional about your achievements or lack thereof. Okay, in terms of money, followers, and recognition. Basically, you just need to redefine what success means to you in your own way, which is much more than just the tangible shit in life. For some reason, people always seem to think that success and achievements are all about money, but success and achievement, I mean, it can come in many different forms than just finances. Oh, yeah. And never doubt the old saying, you know, if one door, excuse me, when one door closes, another one opens. Because if you're in this predicament, then you can thank the water trine, which was formed by the moon to Neptune in your second house and Jupiter in your sixth. If you guys are confused on this shit about conjunctions and trines and transitions, I don't blame you. I don't fucking get it either. I'm just as confused, but fuck the planets and what they're doing. It's just the horoscopes and how it affected us psychologically and really made us think about why we do what we do, how we do it, who we are, you know. Why do we act that way? Is it because of how you were raised? Or do you start questioning these beliefs? Start questioning what your own morals and values are, and maybe they're different than what they used to be. The last part of this is that, if anything, backing out of the opportunity could lead to a whole new career for a job opportunity, or if you're looking for more clients, the best thing you can do, guys, is keep in contact with your current clients so that when you do finally apply for that new job you want, maybe those old clients will give your boss put in a good word for you. Okay, but also remember to guard your work life with your life. And unfortunately, it's so easy these days for people to fuck up your reputation with work, especially when it comes to putting up crap on the internet or whatever. Watch what you post, watch what you say, watch what pictures you post up. Because no matter what, I mean, you gotta look classy and professional at work. I mean, you can have your own life that you want outside of work, but whenever you're at work, you're there for business and to be professional and to give a performance that your boss, whether it's a him or her, whatever, give them of the performance that they're looking for. But give it flair with your personality. Don't be a fucking robot. Seriously. Don't put up a facade. People can, not just managers and bosses and shit, but in general, people can tell One others are putting up a facade, and how do I say, being persnickety about shit. And it's like, yo, bro, that ain't you. So don't act like that. Just come to work, do your job, be professional about it, and be yourself. And I mean, hell, you might even make some friends at work that you could go and have drinks with somewhere at an after hour place, and relax. You know, you'll be in a position to impress, not to copy others, so don't cheat or lie about anything, and don't try to take advantage of anyone and picking up your slack of the work so that you can gain leverage. I've seen people do that and I think it's bullshit. I've seen people take advantage, something like someone who's been working for the company for 10 years. And then you got a newbie that comes in and, they're all excited to learn, the ropes, this, that, and the other. But that one bad apple who's been there for 10 years and they're losing motivation, they don't like the job anymore, and they notice just how happy the newbie is, and then they'll start throwing their slack of their work onto them. And it could be their way of just gaining leverage over the newbie because if you throw your own shit on the new person, it's going to drain them out very quickly to the point where they're not going to like the job very long and then they're going to quit. And that's because they didn't know how to say no because they hadn't built boundaries yet. When you get a new job, you're so excited to say yes all the time, but eventually you learn who could be taking advantage of you and who doesn't. And just don't try to be a sleazeball and slither your way up to the top by being lazy, okay? Giving yourself less of a workload and giving it to somebody else, knowing that that other person is gonna quit, but you're like, hey, I got a raise, a promotion. All right, y'all, I'm fucking tired. Oh, what's tomorrow? Friday? It's barely Friday.